Hey everybody, this is the show where we talk about sports and with comedians. The name of the show is called Box Seats. Thank you guys for joining the show. Today is going to be a special show as I'm waiting for the guests to come in. We are going to be talking about obviously a lot of the stuff that's going on in the sports world. Let me make sure these guys are coming in and making sure we're going to do what we got to do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready to talk about a lot of the sports stuff and just have a great conversation here with you. We've got some great topics to talk about. We're gonna talk about let's see, we're gonna talk about most likely we're gonna talk about Jimmy Butler and all the situation that's going on with Jimmy Butler. We're gonna talk about the NFL games that popped off over the weekend. We got a lot of stuff that we want to discuss. If you want to jump in on the conversation, the link is being posted on all of the social media platforms where you come in, you say your piece, jump in, jump out, or you can stay for the show if you want to. If you know, just like how you would do, you would call in and a sports talk show, you would say, "Hey, here, I have a thought, I have a comment. If you want to do any of that, you please do. It's being posted on Twitch, Facebook groups, Instagram. It's going to be posted everywhere. So, like I said, if you want to jump in on the conversation, it's being posted here all everywhere. So, as we wait for the comics to come in, let's get ready to jump in on the conversation. If you're not familiar and you've been paying attention to the sports world, Jimmy Butler has been acting up the last couple of, I want to say a couple of weeks right about now. And he's been trying to force his way out of the Miami Heat. I watched the conversation today, actually on several platforms. I saw a couple of bits and pieces here of what people were talking about. And I'm interested in seeing what you guys' take would be about this because Jimmy Butler, not only is he trying to force his way out, he's putting Miami Heat in a certain situation, whereas they are sitting there saying, we got to get rid of him. We're going to find him. But since we're going to get rid of him and find him, we got to find a trade partner because his hit on us is going to be very, very expensive. Um, I'm sitting here thinking, if I'm the Miami Heat and I'm Pat Riley, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because being stuck between a rock and a hard place is going to be hard to trade him, right? Since he's acting up. But also, if Jimmy Butler is doing all this stuff and everything else, who's going to want to come to Miami? You know what I mean? That's my thought process. Who's going to want to come to Miami? Because ultimately, people coming to Miami, it's going to be a difficult situation. I'm thinking because of the simple fact being that Jimmy Butler's bad mouthing everybody there. You know what I mean? Let me get ready to bring in one of the comics who just joined the show. If you guys are not familiar with this comedian, he's been on all kinds of TV shows. He's been in films. Most recently, he was in one of my films I loved, Coming to America. Mr. Rodney Perry is in the building. Rodney, how you doing, sir? How's everything?
What's up, Frank? How are you today?
I'm all right. I'm all right. As I wait for other comics to jump in, we've got Marlon Randolph coming in today, so we're looking forward to seeing Marlon getting his thoughts. But I was talking to people and talking to people right now and asking their opinion. Rodney, you tell me what your opinion is with the way Jimmy Butler's handling the situation, because right now I heard something this morning which I thought was an interesting point, that if Jimmy Butler keeps talking about the Miami Heat like this, what NBA players is going to want to come to Miami? You know what I mean? That's my thought process. So,
Well, I mean, Florida is still a place where people get tax-free money and state no state taxes and stuff, and that's a good deal for your home team where you play most of your games. But here goes, man. Jimmy Butler's losing $2.5 million during the suspension,
yeah, right, right.
which is a lot of money, man. I mean, his salary is 48 million, but he lose like $500,000 a game or something like that, dude. Like some crazy like that. So I mean, he must really want out of there to be able to take this financial windfall.
Yeah, but Rodney, here's my thoughts. As I started listening to the conversation, I was like, Jimmy Butler was doing this. Dwayne Wade had an issue with Pat Riley in Miami Heat. Shaquille O'Neal had an issue with Pat Riley in the Miami Heat. Who I mean, you just go down the list of all the people who've been playing for them.
Yeah.
There are only a handful of guys who really wanted to stay there and they love playing for Miami. So I'm like, I would love to know what's going on behind the scenes.
If you're not a obedient guy, if you're a rebel, Miami is not the place for you.
Mm, right.
Pat Riley rules with an iron fist, iron hand, and we got a chance to see him on that TV show, the Laker TV show.
Mm-hmm.
As a young man,
Mm-hmm.
but that was an active portrayal. But Pat Riley over the years become a guy that rules with an iron fist, and you know and you're just not going to go to Miami and run him. He'll run you out of there before he do that. No matter who you are, whether you're
Mhm.
Shaquille O'Neal or Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and the crazy part is what when LeBron went there, I thought LeBron was going to at least be there for a good 10 years, but he did 4 years. Because you remember he did that not 4, not 5, not what I mean. He did that. I was like, okay, so I'm like, what happened behind the scenes that made you be like, you know what? After these 4 years, I'm not re-signing. I'm out. I'm going back to Cleveland.
Everything I'm hearing is that Pat Riley is very difficult.
Yeah,
And we're looking at Jimmy Butler like Jimmy Butler is making a stink, but I think it's Pat Riley. I think Pat Riley is not willing to that he's just like an old dude. He's not
mm-hmm.
willing to give no ground, and
You're
so
right about that. He is an old dude. He is one not going to the ground. But if you look at all the people who came and left, Rodney, I think the NBA is trying to make it look like it's Jimmy Butler when it could be Pat Riley.
it's definitely Pat Riley.
Mm. The funny thing is Jason said something too. Jason said the only downside for the Heat is that Jimmy Butler holds the player option. They might seek to avoid that through some sort of technicality. Braun left because the Heat had no talent and Cleveland was loaded with young dudes. I don't know about that part, Jason, because when Braun left, they had a boat. You know what I mean? They had a boat, and then they all decided to leave at the same time. You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting here looking at like, why is everybody on Jimmy Butler? And Jimmy Butler right now, I've been listening to the NBA stuff all day. I've been reading the boards and everything else. There are teams that want him, but now there are teams that said, you know what? Why should we try to trade for him because he's going to act up if he doesn't come here because he wants.
But that's also the management and owners uniting.
Uh-huh.
That's them supporting Pat Riley because they don't want the inmates to run the asylum. They don't want to set the precedence of a player like Jimmy Butler getting what he wants. And so they will let that guy take a brick in the face before they do that.
Let me bring in one of the future hosts of this show. Hopefully, got to keep holding that. Stacey J is in the building. Stacey, how you doing, Stacey? How's everything?
I am blessed and highly favored, fantastically well. How are you both today?
We are doing very, very well.
What's up, Stace?
We up here discussing
What's up, Mr. Perry? I listen. I heard you talking about Jimmy Butler, and the part that I caught is absolutely correct. I feel that the faction in Miami gets satisfaction out of denying Jimmy Butler what he wants because Jimmy Butler has historically been a squeaky wheel, and Pat Riley is from that old school type of basketball regime where the players don't run anything. They run things. So it's understandable how Jimmy Butler's personality naturally clashes with that. And they would rather go to hell themselves and talk directly to the devil than let Jimmy Butler get what he wants.
If they don't get rid of Jimmy Butler before the playoffs, they got to keep him. Because Jimmy Butler is proven that he's gold during the playoffs. So, I think they need to let the man go and stop playing.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
No, you found so do you cut off your nose to spite your face, or do we all just shake
hands? Pat Riley
cut
his nose off. Pat Riley cut his nose off for sure.
Stacey, let me ask you this. What do you think is the whole thing is going on behind the scene? Because I just asked Rodney Perry. I just said, do you think that the owners are all uniting and they have something to do with what we're seeing being fed to the news media on it? Because honestly, like Rodney Perry said, it can't all be all on Jimmy Butler. Like, what is going on behind the scenes that he's willing to leave $2 million on the table? I mean, I understand unhappiness, but I've never seen a player leave this much money on the table ever in the entire in history of all sports. I've never seen a player risk everything and say, I'd rather not be here and walk away. What do you think? What's your thoughts?
I think it happened. A lot of it has to do with Jimmy being unhappy because of things that we don't know about that's going on behind the scenes. You hear the phrase, "What does it gain a man to profit from the world and lose his soul?" If Jimmy feels as if he's
come on Bible,
listen, I'm discerning what you're talking about. So, if he is in a place where he feels as if he's being suppressed, there's no amount of money that's going to be able to satisfy him. So he literally said he doesn't care where he goes. He just no longer can be in Miami. So I feel like it has a lot to do with the shut up and dribble ideology that's happening down there that he does not subscribe to. He is definitely being policed in a way which he does not appreciate. His physical, mental, whatever creatives are being compromised, and that money on the table is peanuts worth to what the happiness of his soul is. That's
Wow. I have to agree. Ladies and gentlemen, before I get ready to bring this young man in, I got to give you all a proper introduction on who this gentleman is. Let me first bring him in the show. My man, Mr. Marlon Randolph. If you guys are not familiar with him, he's a comedian, been on the underground scene for years. He's been traveling the world. He's one of those comics who you could go in Japan and China because he did the whole thing with the overseas tour with the troops and everything else. He's also known for staff meeting. I love seeing his posters on social media because Marlon be cracking me up with some of his thoughts. Marlon, how you doing, bro?
Man, what's up, man? What's up to the beautiful sister, Rodney? What's up, man? Frank, we finally get to meet, Playboy.
I know, man. Thank you for doing this, man. I greatly appreciate you. I should have had you on a long time ago, bro. So thank you for this, man. I appreciate you. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what's going on with Jimmy Butler, bro, but we talking about, what did you say, Stacey? The man acted up in the asylum. I don't even know how you put that, Stacey, but
who Jimmy Butler? Is that what? That's the gospel singer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going right before Kurt Carter.
Yeah, that one. he acted up, man. He's acted up. As my wife would say, he acted up and he know better. You know what I mean? He acted up, he know better. So, when a player, here's the thing, Marlon, when a player acts up like that, and the NBA owners are looking at this, and the whole world knows like this, how do you handle the situation? Do you believe it's the ownership on that side, or you believe it's the player, combination of both? What would you do? What'd you do, Marlon?
Well, I'm about to embarrass myself out there. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. So Jimmy Butler, I really thought you were talking about the gospel thing. So what did he do? Is it another black guy
let me tell you what he did. Jimmy Butler decided not to go and not to report for some game. I mean, not to report for practices. He stood up the team on going on to the flights and everything else. The team got upset. I'm sorry, I thought you knew this part. The team got upset that he kept being late to transfer, because when you go into practice and everything else, the players all agree to come at a certain time. And what happens is if you don't get there at a certain time, the first time they might fine you, they didn't say nothing. But after like the 7th or 8th time, not only do they suspend you, they suspend you for 1 or 2 games. That was the first time. The second time Jimmy Butler did this and everything else, they suspended him again. So they suspended him for 7 games. Now he did it a third time where he didn't show up to practice. He's not showing up to games to go catch the flights to go, especially the one when he went to catch the flight to go to Milwaukee, play Milwaukee. He told the team, I will meet you in Milwaukee. Team's like, you know what? Don't bother. You stay home. He got suspended indefinitely. So what we're talking about right here is because the Miami Heat are known to have a situation with players like LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, Dwayne Wade, where they have issues with these players. They may be star players, but they get upset because the star players demand certain things. And Pat Riley behind the scenes is like, you know what? I'm sick of all this stuff. Y'all could go out. So this is where we are now. Jimmy Butler is in this focal point now of being looked at by the entire league, and everyone knows. Whereas before, it might happen and no one might know. You know what I mean? Now everybody knows because he's coming to social media and expressing his thoughts. Social media is putting a lot of this stuff out there. So my question to you is, if you are ownership, management, and hell, if you're just running your own business, how do you handle a disgruntled employee?
All right. First of all, thank you for explaining that. I got 3 simple things because I'm old school, man, and I really feel like there's a disconnect with the younger guys. Period. I don't care what industry you're in, and he probably like that quarterback player that played for the Commanders. He said that one of his best movies he's inspired by is Cars. When he mentioned Cars, I'm like, he was born 2005. So these guys come up in a world that you and I are not gonna understand because they always had that iPad in front of them. So this guy could be operating he's probably playing chess where he's like, I just want to put it out in the streets. And you got to remember, LeBron started a lot of this stuff. So they was watching that. It's the same way Madonna adopted Dennis Rodman. I don't know if you remember back in the days when Dennis Rodman started dating Madonna, he started wearing the wedding stuff and all the earring stuff because they come Trump like that too. They come from a world of there's no such thing as bad press. So he looking at the money and the possibility, and the owners and the man, they once you set a trend with any of these guys, you open it up for everybody to do that shit. That's why we at where we at now, because everybody's watching, and social media makes it worse.
you know, Rodney, he just said a mouthful right there, Rodney, because he did say social media make it worse. And people were talking about it all day, Rodney. They're talking about how Jimmy Butler is doing something, and it's just spinning out of control and spinning out of control. And and I'm gonna get ready to wrap this particular subject, and I'm gonna wrap it up with you, Rodney, and you get the last word on this. I don't know how to handle this. I don't even know what I would do if I was them. So
Hey guys, man, it's not a bad thing what we're seeing. We're looking at progress. We're looking at a situation where your boss just making like bring it in your world. Your boss say, "Hey, dog, you do what I say when I say it," and you've been doing it for 5 or 10 years, and now you sick of it. You reached the end of your rope, and that's what we're seeing with Jimmy Butler. And let me tell you something: these billion-dollar billionaires, they don't like people that don't do what they say. And so that we saw it in Houston with the football team. We saw it. We saw it a lot of times, and we're lucky they ain't got a rape charge on this boy yet. I'm telling y'all, Jimmy Butler, keep your nose clean. Be careful, man, because this could get even crazier than we know.
Yeah,
so you're saying real quick. So Rodney, you're saying it's not that he has one, but you're saying that when it starts to go bad, they know how to call somebody who knows somebody.
Yes,
and
that's a fact.
The public, the whole PR campaign of because you don't have to be innocent or guilty. Once they put it out there, it's a wrap.
Once it's out there, it's out there. Ain't no taking it back.
Yeah, look
at we're alluding to it.
Also, you gonna get this Marlon, and also my sister with the fresh hair. I think it's Jimmy Butler's hair. Everybody's sick of his hair, man. Miami Heat are sick of these little blonde braids he got. What the hell you doing, Jimmy Butler?
I gotta Google him. I gotta see what he looked like.
You said you know what he looked like when you see. So
is he like Cam Newton, one of them dudes?
No, Cam got way more swag.
Yeah, Cam's swag, and Cam walks confident, but that's a whole nother subject.
Jimmy Butler does operate on
I see you talking about. I got you.
Yeah. That's the hair thing. That's what we talk about. Okay. Stacey, you get ready to set up on this next subject topic as we get ready to continue to move on. Because my man Marlon Randolph is here and everything else, I'm going to ask you, because we didn't have you yesterday, I'm going to ask you, obviously, about the Detroit Lions, because the Detroit Lions are in the news. And I want to ask, I'm going to jump in on Marlon with this one, but I'm going to let Stacey handle this one first. What would you do if you are the Detroit Lions right now and everybody's looking at you on how you would handle your quarterback right now, because the quarterback carousel now is about to start turning on what you going to do, Jaden Daniels ain't making it easy for anybody right now. And you know that, Stacey, because Jaden Daniels came in as a rookie and had a team that he brought to the NFC Championship. So if you are the Detroit Lions, Stacey, what do you do? What do you do with your QB?
I feel that the Detroit Lions are in a very interesting predicament because one small thing could have led to big changes in their season. I feel like they actually won with the swap for Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. They both ended up in situations that were optimal to their games. They were both complementary to what their games were. So
she know football. She know football.
I know just a little bit.
No, you talking like you. You get down with the best, but who you watching football with?
Listen, you in my business. What's going on? You in my business on a Tuesday.
Ain't no way you watching football by yourself. I know that sounds very sexy.
I be on that couch with my feet rubbed together, and I be locked in. I'm locked in.
Put your shoes on, Stacey. Put your shoes on.
And will not. In the comfort of my home, and will not.
Go ahead, Stacey. Finish. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. My bad, Frank.
But the Detroit Lions had an astronomical number of players that were on the injured reserve this season. And while you can always argue that Jared Goff could have performed better, he could have done everything, I don't think Jared Goff was their primary issue as to why they couldn't get over the hump. It's always a roll of the dice when it comes to quarterbacks, especially aging quarterbacks, hurt quarterbacks. Is like in this market, a good quarterback is like striking gold. I don't think that the Lions should move on from Jared Goff yet.
Okay.
They should kind of stay.
That's your thought. I'm gonna go back to Roddy, then I'm gonna come to you, Marlon, because I have something with Roddy I love to do, and Roddy always says,
But Rodney is a lion hater. 2 weeks ago, he was on here. He was in his car talking about how we was gonna be in this situation. He put it in the universe.
Right, but Marlon,
I was hurt by that, man.
But Marlon, I'm gonna get to you in a second. Check this out, because I do something all the time with Roddy that I call a pelican brief. It's what I be putting together some ideas, throw them out there, and see how they come together. And every time I do that, Roddy said, "Frank, you come up with a pelican brief." So here's my pelican brief, Rodney Perry, because I got one all the time.
Go ahead.
I am the Detroit Lions, I'm just saying, if I'm the Detroit Lions,
so this has no for the audience. This has no basis in fact. It's just Frank thinking.
That's all it is, Frank thinking. No facts, just Frank thinking. If I'm the Detroit Lions and I'm looking at the Atlanta Falcons, and I know the Atlanta Falcons got Kirk Cousins now, and Kirk Cousins is going to be on the bench, and I'm the Detroit Lions, and I'm not happy with Matthew Stafford, I say, you know what? Let me see what Kirk Cousins can do right here and bring him on over here right here. Let me make a trade for a 3rd-round draft pick, 4th-round draft pick. Let me get Kirk Cousins. You like that? What you think about that pelican brief, Rodney Perry?
That might be the worst pelican brief of all time.
Like,
why would you trade? Matt, why would you trade one old white man for another old white man? It's absurd.
I can tell you why. But I'll let you finish. I can tell you why. Go ahead.
No, Kirk Cousins ain't about to get good though. Like, let me tell you something. Like, I play Madden all the time. My boy, like, I got you. I got you next game. I'm like, is you about to get a new brain and some new fingers? No. You're not about to do that. And Kirk Cousins is not going to magically get good if he go to Detroit. And how about this? You don't want to be in Detroit not good.
Oh, they're going to hit you up. They're going to hit you.
Now, I will say this, and Marlon, you're right. I did hate on the Detroit Lions a little bit, but only because they deserve it. Let me tell you something. Detroit is a city that's been losing for decades. And it takes a longer to heal that than a couple of years. And so I think in the next 5-10 years, if they keep a good nucleus together, they can begin to really win. But I love what it did for the city. I love Detroit, one of my favorite cities. I love what it did for the city. I love all my friends was happy. But look, your ass ain't been happy in 25 years.
That's not true. 89-90 Detroit Pistons staff meeting. So that's not true. And we made Michael Jordan who he is. Don't you forget, Mr. Chicago. There is no Michael Jordan without the Pistons, and that's why the Commanders, that's why they lost, because they didn't get their ass whooped by the Lions the way they were supposed to. They sat at home for a week, the Lions did, and I'm going to tell you, all these athletes, I done hung out with most of them. When they off, they in strip clubs, and they having fun. You got to be focused. You got to be like Kobe and Mike in the morning. Like, when Mike said he used to go to hotel rooms, and them guys would be doing certain stuff. And when Kobe Bryant said they would say, come party with us, and he would be up 4 a.m. in the court. That's what the Lions got to be. That's what they should have been on, but they didn't have nobody to play but themselves, and they end up backfiring. And they had too many injuries. And it was all the pressure was on Detroit. It was lit. They had everybody in town. Everybody, the whole world was watching like it was the Dallas Cowboys, and it was too much pressure. And sometimes, Rodney, you know this as a comic. I don't care how good you killing in the club, but when that camera on you and you see them red lights, it's a camera on your left, it's a camera on your right, it's a camera in front of you, you start to freeze. Them jokes and delivery and timing is off because you're so focused on performing for cameras instead of being present. And I saw that in the quarterback and the Detroit Lions staff meeting.
So do you think, is it fair to say, Marlon, that maybe that they overlooked the Washington Commander? Because I mean, I don't even know if it was the lights. I think they overlooked them. I think they partied, like you said, and I think they overlooked, the team that was sitting right in front of them. They were too busy thinking they were going to make it to the NFC Championship game.
It's a possibility that what they did was looked at them being a young team, which is what you're saying, and they probably said, we got this in the bag. But you always got to remember, the underdog got more. The Commanders was Detroit last year.
Right.
Or a couple weeks ago,
right,
when everybody, just how Rodney just said, y'all ain't gonna feel nothing for 25 years. That's how people talk about the Commanders. The Detroit was supposed to stay hungry, man. They were supposed to stay hungry, and I don't know what happened, but that was painful yesterday to watch the Commanders, or 2 days ago to watch the Commanders play, and Detroit is sitting at home and they number one NFC. That just don't make no damn sense right there, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think that it's the lights because Jared Goff has been under high pressure situations before. He's been deep in the playoffs before. I think he's actually even been like to a Super Bowl before. He's used to the lights. I think it was a lack of preparation and the injuries.
Okay, that could be very true. He threw 5 turnovers. That's 5 turnovers is something that means something mentally.
Something was off.
Something was off mentally. So my only way of connecting to that is when it's lights, camera, action, or some type of scripture. And like I'm very quick on my feet. So I don't like to prepare for nothing because it takes you from being organic and present. And for me, my way of identifying to that is look, it's just too much right now. I like it when we were the underdogs. Those Lions might be used to just being the underdogs and surprising everybody, but can you deliver when you're supposed to is a whole different mentality is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. So Stacey, let me throw this Pelican brief out there because Rodney Perry he always on me about my Pelican brief. So let me start with you, Stacey. This is another Pelican brief.
You notice he ain't say nothing about Michael Jordan. But
yeah,
go ahead.
He ain't gonna.
We can talk Michael Jordan, but let's talk about the losing Detroit Lions. Let's talk about that. Let's stay focused.
I'm gonna stick with Detroit for a second because I think Detroit's issue is their quarterback. I think their quarterback is the issue. So I put out there my first Pelican brief, and I've told you who my first QB is, and my next QB is who I really would like to see this happen with. If Kirk Cousins makes sense to me too because of statistics and how he did with the Minnesota Vikings. But in a perfect world for me, I would love to see this. And Stacey, I'm going to make sure you rock this down. Would be Justin Fields. I would love to see Justin Fields with the Detroit Lions. To me, that makes the perfect sense. It makes the best fit. He can scramble with the ball when he has to. He ain't the most accurate QB in the world, but he needs the right situation. He needs the right, obviously, temperament. He needs the right coach. And right now, he getting ready to get kicked out of Pittsburgh. He's not staying in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not going to re-sign him. He's going to be looking for a home to land. And Stacey, do you like, Detroit with Justin Fields? Hate it? What's your thought process in Justin Fields, Detroit Lions?
First and foremost, I was not under the impression that Justin Fields was about to get put out of Pittsburgh. I thought they were like about to shop Russ. I was actually going to bring up Russ needs to go ahead and reunite with Pete over there in the Raiders because the Raiders need a quarterback. But the situation in Pittsburgh for Justin, I feel like it is a good scheme for him to kind of thrive under, especially with Mike Tomlin as a coach. I know he is not good in the playoffs. This is not what today's show is about. But the leadership that I feel that he needs. Dan Campbell is a great coach. They had a great offensive coach in Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is now in Chicago. Ironically enough.
Right.
So
and the other one came to the Jets.
And the other one went to the Jets. So now we're dealing with a different coaching system that is about to be set into place. And that is the only reason why I would be apprehensive from uprooting him from Pittsburgh, if that's the case, because he needs to sit still somewhere to get the skills that he needs to develop into being a great QB. If he continuously moves around, continuously is in different systems, and he doesn't really lock in on a coaching system and a coaching team that is really dedicated to developing him, then we're going to be having this conversation about Justin Fields every year. So that is the only reason why I would be against moving him, unless he does get booted out. And if he does get booted out, why not?
Well, Stacey, I'm going to put this. Here's the facts before I throw it to Rodney Perry. Here's the facts. Monetarily wise, the Pittsburgh Steelers are all in on Russell Wilson. I'm looking at the facts. I'm going down the list and looking at the facts, contractual wise and everything else. You got the player room, the locker room. Mike Tomlin with Russell, everything else. Even though to me it would make the most sense for Pittsburgh Steelers to move on from Russell Wilson, they're going to only because of contract issues. They're gonna move on from Justin Fields because of contract issues and things like that. So they're gonna be stuck with him for at least another year or two. So if they're gonna stick with him, they can't pay both of those dudes. They just can't do it for the next year.
I thought Russell had a 1-year contract.
Now he got a 1 year plus a player option to sign in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got a player option to sign in, and it's expecting Pittsburgh he's going to sign in. So I'm just saying right now he going to be there. So he going to be there. Mike Tomlin's going to be there. You brought up a point that I was going to bring up later on about obviously Pete Carroll out there. I would think that he would want to go back out to obviously the LA, on the West Coast. But word is right now that's not going to happen. So, Mr. Pelican Brief, you may like me or you may not like me, Mr. Pelican Brief. But what you think about Justin Fields landing with Detroit? Because honestly, where else can he go with the system, with a team that's going to win, that will put him in the right position to win? I mean, I looked at all the teams that are available right now, and if anywhere else he can go, he's going to be again the number 2 QB. So I'm like, well, you go to maybe Detroit and be the number 1.
Well, first of all, Detroit is like the Bears East. You know, they got our running back. They historically will go get a Chicago player. Justin Fields, I would love to see him in the Detroit uniform. One of the things they figured out about Detroit Tigers is the fact that QB was immobile, right? A mobile quarterback would have changed everything. That gets the ball out of his hand quicker, and I think that can help. And they got the right protection that protected Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields didn't do bad at the top of the season with Pittsburgh. And if they move away from him, that's their loss. That's their loss. They want to stay with the old man if they want to. Let me tell you something. This football is a young man game. It's a young man game. And I don't think Justin Fields in this is not a bad call.
Yeah, because you need a mobile quarterback in today's world, Mom. You need a mobile QB to move around. You need a
that might be my daughter too. She just want to listen.
Oh, okay. Marlon, what you think about Justin Fields taking over from Matthew Stafford? You like that idea? Because I mean, I know you know the Lions is your.
I want the quarterback to stay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think you need to switch the quarterback. I don't think you need to switch. I think that the Lions. I think that last year gave them what they needed to become number 1 in the seed. They got their ass spanked. Actually, they were closer last year than this year. Because
no sir.
Yeah, they were. They only had one game away from being in the Super Bowl, and they lost last year. One game, and they lost to San Francisco, and they went to the Super Bowl. Where this year they would have been 2 games before getting to the Super Bowl. So I think with that kind of defeat and embarrassment and ass beating, that's enough to really send everybody home and make sure that don't happen again. And maybe they overplayed their hand a little bit. Keep the quarterback, man. He's a good quarterback. You don't throw away a guy because he fuck over a man 3 times out of 10. You keep him because he did 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
All right, my man Stack. No, he has my stats, my facts, and everything else. Man, Stack, talk to me, bro. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Frank. How you doing, brother?
All right. Talk to me about the subject.
Stack, what up, baby?
What's going on? What's going on? Whatever I need. What up, Stace? Yeah, the Lions do not have a QB problem. The Lions messed up by abandoning the run game in the playoffs. It's the same reason why the Ravens lost too, by abandoning the run game. And I think that when it comes to Justin Fields, as you mentioned earlier, I think they brought him into the Steelers organization for a reason, for him to develop under Russell Wilson. If you noticed, Russell Wilson didn't throw for a lot of yards this season. A lot of his games, even in the games they won, he had under 200 yards passing. I mean, some games he went over, but I'm just saying, like, his game and old man Russell's game kind of compared to each other at this point. So I think they were kind of grooming him to take over the reins. I think Pittsburgh is a great situation for him. He has a defense that's going to play for him and protect leads. And I think he's got a coach that believes in him. I think that's probably the best situation he's been in. I don't see him leaving. And as far as Russ goes, he's unrestricted, actually. If he ends up anywhere other than Pittsburgh, I think it'll be over with Pete Carroll in Vegas.
Funny you bring that up, because Stacey, I was going to throw that out there to you right now, Stacey, and say that Pete Carroll got a situation going on over there in Vegas, and he's putting together a great team. He's putting together a great coaching staff. He got Tom Brady up there, and they're sitting down there and they're sitting there talking. If you are Pete Carroll and you are obviously Tom Brady, this is what's out there. You got Aaron Rodgers out there because he might not sign, obviously, with the Jets. You got Kirk Cousins out there because Kirk Cousins might obviously switch up and not, he might be traded because right now he's the number 2 QB for Atlanta. You got him out there. You got Andy Dalton. You got Sam Darnold. We just mentioned Justin Fields. You got Daniel Jones. We already know what's going on with Russell Wilson. But then you have a wild card by Jameson Winston. So what do you think is the QB that you think they sitting around the huddling and they talking about right now who they going to bring in to the Vegas Raiders to help turn that culture around? Because what they win 2 games last year.
Yes.
So
the fact that they won 2 games last year means that the only place that they can go is up. They are in a full rebuild, and I do not believe that they need to rebuild with an old aging quarterback. So they need to go as young as possible. They need to go as mobile as possible. And I honestly think that any of those quarterbacks on the list would be a number 2, and they or start off as a number 1, and they should pick up someone in the draft that they can build the franchise around. You are not building your franchise around Kirk Cousins. You are not building your franchise around Aaron
Donald. Sam
Yeah.
Donald. Yeah.
Not Aaron Donald.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Yes, you're not building your defense around Aaron Rodgers. Sam Darnold showed you who he was in the playoffs. And if you, again, are going to rebuild, sometimes you got to tear the floorboards up and rebuild all the way over. So I feel like with Pete Carroll, why he is still with us, I mean, he is in his 70s, Lord bless us. But he
looked great, though. He looked great.
Listen, I'm not even mad at it. This is not ageism at all. I just want to don't cancel anybody in here, okay? So I feel as if with his knowledge and his knowledge and everything and rebuilding the game, he helped build up Russ when he first got in there and everything like that. They just need to start young. They need to start fast and kind of go from there. They shouldn't really target anybody on that list to be their QB1.
We are lucky and we are blessed that we have another young lady who's joining the show. Her name is Raina Perry. Raina, how you doing? Thank you for joining the show, Raina. For those of you who may see the name, Raina is the daughter of Mr. Rodney Perry in the building. Hey, Raina. Hey. Thank you. We appreciate you. Raina, since you want to be with the big boys and talk sports, here's my question for you. We're talking about Pete Carroll. We're talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about what they're going to do. If you're the Raiders, how about drafting Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, out there and helping make that thing change up right now? Because you got to do something. Either you get a vet or you get somebody new who's gonna come in there. And if you do trade for Shedeur Sanders, you know you're gonna get Deion Sanders. That's a 2-for-1 package. That's happening. What would you do, Raina?
I ain't know y'all talking sports. Okay.
I'm not by myself. Yay!
Tell me what you want to talk about, man. We here. This is a conversation.
Well, I mean, I've seen like some of his highlights. I would bring in I think I would bring in somebody new. I would bring in Sanders.
Okay. All right.
That makes sense to me because I mean he young, fast. He seems adaptable. Like he knows how to be a team player, but he also can stand alone and bring something fresh to the game. That's what I would say.
Okay, well, Raina, you hang there. Let me ask your dad what your dad would do. Rodney Perry, I know you look at you proud of the.
He is beaming. Oh my gosh.
Rodney's beaming. He's beaming.
Look at him.
And when in doubt, bullshit.
It sounded real good.
So, Rodney, what would you do, man? If you obviously, I threw it out there saying that if you Pete Carroll, you know what I mean? You got the vets on one side you could get, or you could get Shedeur Sanders, because Shedeur is gonna bring you. He gonna bring.
All right, I agree with Stacey. Don't get no old ass quarterback because you already old. You tilting the clock, old coach. But I'm not getting Shedeur either because if I get Shedeur, I gotta bring Deion over here with his little gray hair trying to run my team. No, sir. You keep your little son and his brother and their daddy. Keep all 3 of them, and guess what? I'm good if I'm Pete Carroll.
What, Rodney? I'm very surprised you said that, Rodney.
I'm good if I'm Pete Carroll. I'm Pete Carroll. I've been around this league a long time. What I'm not about to do is hire the guy that's gonna take my job.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That makes sense. Okay, I'm with you on that. That makes a lot of sense. Now, Mr. Marlon Randolph, do I need to explain a little bit more with you, or you think you're good enough to throw it down on this conversation? What you want to do? What you want me to explain a little more? You got it. Because right now we're looking at the number 2 in the draft is going to be the number 2 in the draft is going to be the Oakland Raiders. You take one of those QBs I mentioned, with Pete Carroll and Tom Brady. Tom Brady owns, I mentioned him. I don't know if you know this, Marlon, but Tom Brady owns a small percentage of the Las Vegas Raiders. So now he obviously had hands in hiring Pete Carroll as the head coach. So they're sitting around huddling, trying to figure out who they gonna do, what they gonna do, because they needed QB. They only won 2 games last year. They've had head coaching issues for the last 5 years. Well, actually longer than that. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do as a franchise moving forward. Because, like Stacey said, the only way to go is up. You're at the bottom of the barrel. What would you do?
First of all, is that a Tom Brady hat you wearing?
Yes, it is. I'm almost sure it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So
and I say it proudly. But so
you're a fan.
I'm a proud fan of the New England Patriots. I'm not a proud fan of somebody who went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and played. So don't go. You're going down the wrong road, Miles. You're going down the wrong road. Me and Stack are good on this one, right, Stack? We good on this one.
Exactly.
Yeah, we good on this one.
Oh, he a Patriots guy too, Stack?
Yeah, Stack, my man.
Yeah, Stack got all kind of Boston stuff back there. They also like New Edition too.
So what is that? That like what the Patriots? That's Vermont or Rhode Island? What team is that?
New England is a collection of states.
Come on, trying to be funny.
They was the Boston Patriots. We just opened it up, expanded. When to show some love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna pass on that one, man.
Yeah. Okay. That's from a Detroit Lions fan. I just want y'all to know out there, that's a Detroit Lions fan for you.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Marlon is off the chain. Marlon, I'm gonna pass on that.
All right, I don't know how you.
I didn't even know you can do that. I'm gonna start passing too.
Passing the mic.
No, Rodney, you can't pass, Rodney.
Nah, you know what? I learned in my experience, man. If you're not that knowledgeable, man, you gotta learn to shut the fuck up.
Well said.
I
never do that. 1,000%. I always make up something.
On that note, the Raiders are not picking second in the draft. The Raiders are picking 6. They will have absolutely no chance of getting Shedeur Sanders.
It ain't gonna happen if they wanted to.
Yeah, if I'm the Raiders, they probably should go for someone. I don't even know if Kirk Cousins. I don't even think Kirk Cousins is even going to be available. But I'd get like a middling QB, even maybe a Jameis Winston or somebody like that.
I like Jameis Winston.
And they need to invest in the trenches. That would be the O-line and the D-line, and we go from there.
I just think that the new QB now is a mobile quarterback in the moving forward with the league. I think what we see right now in the Super Bowl, you got the Chiefs and you got the Philadelphia Eagles. You got to have a run game. You got to have a mobile quarterback. You got to be able to do something. Raina, you sitting there? You want to throw in 2 cents? You want to say something, Raina? Sitting there.
Well, I was just wondering because you said who's going to be in the Super Bowl. Who are y'all going for? Because I know like you just said, your team's not in it. But do you have?
I don't want Taylor Swift to win. I know that.
She already won.
I don't want Taylor Swift, and I don't want Taylor Swift or her boyfriend or El DeBarge quarterback to win.
Wow.
El DeBarge is being generous.
No, let Shamar Moore get this one. Let Philly and them get it. Let them get it.
So you'll put light skin on light skin fight?
I have colorism issues, yes.
Wow, that's crazy. Hey, you know what? Great question, Raina. I like Kansas City only because I cannot in my right mind root against or bet against Patrick Mahomes. He's a winner and he knows how to win.
Stacey, after you saw the games this weekend, everything else, and you saw what happened, and you saw how the plays were, and you saw everything. Matter of fact, let me just throw this out there for you guys. If you're sitting at home and you didn't see this play, this is the play to me that catapulted the Kansas City Chiefs over the Buffalo Bills.
Tucking it, and now reaching for it. It's as close. He's looking from the other side where the football is right there. Does he get enough to get to that line? Just had to get to that line.
So, Stacey, I thought the Buffalo Bills was winning. They were up by 1. They had the ball. It was 3rd and 1. They ran. To me, it looked like they got it on 3rd and 1. They didn't. They didn't get the spot. 4th and 1. They didn't get it again. That spot changed and everything else. It just changed the whole game. Then Kansas City went. They got the ball. Then they went down the other side, scored, and the game was over. If you ask me, then. But even though we see all that, we saw how it all unfolded. Who you got for the Super Bowl? Why? And what's your thoughts on anything?
This is very much a head versus heart type of pick. I think for everyone. We
No, what's
touched
your head? What's your head?
Our head, well, my head says the Chiefs are going to win because we already know they are playing with forces that are beyond all of us.
Facts.
So
Won't they do
good
it?
money, exactly. Good money says that their hands are in enough pockets that will help them out in a time of need. We already knew what that Bills game was going to be before they got there, outside of the fact that Josh Allen has an issue beating the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes anyway. But even if they got close enough to touch the hem of the garment of a win, it was going to be violently snatched back. So that's exactly what happened. So it's very hard to believe that the narrative will be any different going into the Super Bowl. So the head choice would be the Chiefs. The heart choice would be the Eagles. Again, we've said it before. We have Chiefs fatigue. I am tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes, Kermit the Frog on my screen. I am tired of seeing Taylor Swift every 2 minutes.
You said Toilet Swift. Make sure we heard that.
Toilet Smith. Ooh, see, why are you trying to get me out of here? I ain't even
sorry. But that
Oh
was
my
funny.
gosh.
That was funny.
But Taylor Swift, tired of seeing her on my screen every now and then. And again, not to diminish the talent that Patrick Mahomes has, not to diminish the clutchness of the team, the excellent coaching by Andy Reid and all of those things. But they have the extra edge when they need it. And it is hard to bet against that. So head choice is the Chiefs. Heart choice is the Eagles. If I told you why specifically I wanted why to pick the Eagles, y'all would think I'm nuts. So that's fine. This was between me and my people.
I would you.
I mean, if you want to hear it, I'll tell you.
No,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
So as we all know, well, if you don't know, I am from the great illustrious city of Atlanta, home of strip clubs and chicken wings, and the Atlanta Falcons. And we all know what happened in 2016 at the Super Bowl. Julio Jones was a part of that Super Bowl team. He had nothing to do with the Falcons' collapse or demise in that Super Bowl. He is now. This is not the time. Okay, we're not gonna do that. It's not the time.
It's not the time.
It's not the time. But Quintorris Lopez-Jones was on that team. He is now on the Eagles. I feel he deserves a Super Bowl ring. The Eagles need to bring him one. There we go.
All right.
On the Eagles?
Stack, you got the floor. You got the floor.
All right, Stack.
I wouldn't mind Julio getting one. I'm even though I'm from New England and I pick all Boston teams, the only team that I do like that is not in the New England area is the Alabama Roll Tide football team. So, Julio did come from Alabama. So I could root for the Eagles. Plus, I'm tired of seeing the Chiefs too. It's definitely head versus heart. I agree with you, Stacey. It's interesting, though, seeing that the Chiefs do not defend the run very well, in my opinion. I wonder if Philly commits to the run and just giving the ball to Saquon, if the refs are going to be able to do anything about that, because you're gonna dominate the clock for one. You'll get time of possession. You can keep their defense on the field for longer periods of time, and I think that could actually give Philly the win. And Jalen Hurts isn't really like going to throw the ball like that anyway, so they just might pull this off if they commit to running the ball. Because I really don't think I looked at how Houston ran on Kansas City, and I was like, if Joe Mixon can do it, then for sure Saquon can.
Rodney Perry, no, you know what nobody's not talking about? I watch sports. I have them on all day, even have local sports stuff on all day. And I want to bring this up. Nobody's talking about. The Philadelphia Eagles are about to go to their second Super Bowl in 3 years. All everybody's talking about is the 3 years in a row that, obviously the Chiefs are getting ready to do. But are we overlooking, obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles? And if so, it's getting a lot of scrutiny coming down on these people here, on just.
I mean, a short answer to that question is the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl the third time is just a bigger story. But I don't think we're overlooking the Eagles. I agree with Stack. I think if they can manage to run the ball, and how about this? The offensive line is not a game. They big boys, and they making big old holes. Pause. And they They doing their thug thizzle out there. Let me tell you something, man.
Yeah, they doing
I'm not
something.
mad at the Eagles. I think they get it done. I'm be honest. Since we're going personal takes. Kevin Hart is my friend. I don't want the Eagles to win because I want him to be happy for that day.
Raina, you got another question you want to ask the topic?
I swear to God, that's why I want Philly to win. I want Spank, Naeem. I want.
Naeem from New Jersey. Naeem from New Jersey.
South Jersey is Eagles, man. All that up there is Eagles.
Yeah.
Camden, Willingboro, Cherry Hill. Look, Lawrence Killebrew. I want all them. I just want Philly to get it. Denny Lie. I want Philly to get this, man. Really, because Kansas City is not a popular place and it's associated with nothing but the Wizard of Oz. It's just not a popular joint.
That's so absurd. It's so absurd, Marlon.
Go ahead, Marlon. Go ahead.
It's not one of the. I want one of the urban cities, man. That's like when you go into
Kansas City, urban as hell.
It is.
Yes.
They must be urban.
It's one of them blackest cities in America.
It must be urban. Because what does Kansas City produce?
Barbecue,
buddy.
That's it?
Yeah.
What else you want?
St. Louis, Nashville, Chicago do barbecue. That ain't enough, bro.
Kansas City is more barbecue than all them cities.
KC masterpiece, buddy.
Okay, y'all. Let Raina ask her last question. Raina, you got the floor. Ask your last question out there because I know you should get that question out there, Raina.
Okay, it's another question. Are y'all? Because I don't think. I feel like me as a younger person, I watch the game, but I'm really there for the halftime show. Are y'all excited about this halftime show?
Good question, Raina.
Great question.
Good question.
I'm excited. When he went up to California and had all the Bloods and Crips and all of them on the stage dancing, I said he gonna have them all together. I feel it.
Raina, that was the best question of entire.
There's a lot of controversy with that. Hey, Raina, there's a lot of controversy with that. That is a dope. I'm glad you brought it up. There's a lot of controversy because, he's only doing one song off GNX, and no one knows what that is yet because of this. Drake is doing everything in his power to stop Not Like Us from being played. And
they said he's not gonna do nothing like us.
See,
all you need is the instrumental anyway. You don't even need this rap.
Let the crowd sing it. They'll do it. Just play the instrumental.
Let's get some order here. Marlon, finish your statement, and then I'm gonna ask everybody else this because
that was. I'm glad Raina brought that up. How beautiful that was. That was my statement. I just think it's so controversial. It's almost bigger than the game because we have two things. We have Kansas City, who could do a three-peat. You have Philly, who is going up against refs and the whole institution and Vegas. But then you also have this huge battle in the background of Drake. And then you have a fourth battle in here, which is Lil Wayne and them didn't want him there.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Very valid.
Hey, Raina, your daddy did a good job. Staff meeting.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, staff meeting. Mr. Rodney Perry, Raina asked the best question of the whole damn show. Like, she came in and killed it with the question. What's your thoughts on this, Rodney?
No. I mean, what a great question. K-Dot, Kendrick Lamar, really the biggest song of the year in a diss track that was never even supposed to be a song. And we see Kendrick. I would like to see Kendrick Lamar personally give a nod to some New Orleans artists. Mm-hmm. Like, I would like to see Kendrick Lamar during his performance be like, yo, bring out Master P, bring out Lil Wayne, bring out, and really squash all that stuff, all that whole talk about New Orleans, and he do it personally. That's what I like to see.
That's a great response to you, Mr. Rodney Perry. Stacey, what's your thoughts on what Raina asked?
So we all know that over 50% of the people that watch the Super Bowl are watching for the halftime show anyway. They could care less about the Eagles or the Chiefs or Taylor or whoever. They're all watching for the Super Bowl halftime show. I, much like Issa Rae, am rooting for anybody Black. So anytime that we have an opportunity to be on a stage as large as the Super Bowl and showcase our talent, I'm all for it. I don't care who it is.
Two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl.
No, one and a half.
One and a half.
Stop it.
Hey, let me tell you something. Mahomes' daddy black enough to make him black.
Listen, that man is
no.
But that man is a special type of Black man. But anyway, so the point about it being in New Orleans, I'm glad that you brought that up, was very big point of contention with K-Dot being in the Super Bowl. And I will say that I did question at first why in such a city that is musically rich as New Orleans, they would choose to have someone that wasn't from the city that be in the Super Bowl lineup anyway. For that reason, I feel like Kendrick will incorporate some of those New Orleans artists into his set. He's already confirmed that SZA will be joining him on his set.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, they going on tour. Well, they about to.
They're about to go on tour, so it's a natural alignment. It makes sense. Yes. But I will also say that I just saw Lil Wayne perform at, not personally, but a video of Lil Wayne performing at a venue, and we didn't want that.
No,
we didn't want that at all.
After his Black Lives Matter comment, we didn't want him anyway.
We didn't want that. I thought we did. I was on the bandwagon. I saw that performance. I was like, yeah, no, we're better off. Jay-Z might know what he's doing. He might.
Wifey threw out the fact too that not only do we watch it for the halftime show, we watch it for the commercials. You know what I mean? So there's that too. I know I love watching the commercials and the movie trailers. That's what I love because they debut a lot of commercials and stuff like that. Raina asked a great question though, Stack. What's your answer?
Yeah, I am looking forward to the halftime show mainly due to SZA. I think Kendrick Lamar is overrated rapper, unfortunately. I don't think he's a bad rapper by any means, but I just, ever since he came out, I'd be like, yo, I'm making a really big deal about this guy that which I think he's very talented. He's had probably the best year last year, but for the props that they give him, sometimes I just feel like they just kind of take it too far.
Did you watch the last concert that he did in LA?
Yeah, I watched it. It's given. I think for the BET Awards, that'd be great because the BET Awards, you get those types of tributes when they bring everybody on stage from that.
But before he brought them on stage, the way that he had the show rocking by himself, and he as a rapper, he didn't do it over a track.
Look, he's in his city. He's in his city though. He's in his, and I'm not even complaining. I'm not saying it wasn't a great show or nothing.
The song has become an anthem. Yes.
Yeah, we're not arguing about talent. I mean, like I said, he's talented. I just think he's overrated. And
you did. This is talent.
You did. This is talent.
This is talent. He's overrated.
You said he's not really a rap. You came out. This.
What did I say?
You said I think he's overrated and he's given way more credit. And what he did with the concert, bringing people up, you dismissed it like he was.
I personally, and I'm a DJ, right? And I listen to his albums. As I listen, they don't hold my attention. They're boring. It's like Nas. Nas is one of the greatest rappers ever. But to me, I'll tell you quickly, Nas's music is boring to me. It's boring. He got some hits, but it's not sonically pleasing. You know, I remember when I moved to Atlanta from up north, and I'll talk about some of the rappers that I do like Jadakiss, and in the South they'd be like, "Yo, I can't get with that. Like he can rap."
Jadakiss is one of my favorite rappers all time.
Let me just say this right now. Let me just jump in right now.
Hey, Frank, hold on. Let me just say this real quick. I will say, Stack, before this album, I agree with you because when he performed with Snoop and them at the Super Bowl, it did nothing for me, and that's more for my kids. My son's 30 years old. That's for them, and I accept that that's for them. But this whacked out morals and reincarnated this album here, it's a different Kendrick, man. Something's going on with him, and you have to acknowledge and see that something's going on.
I'm happy for the brother. I'm happy.
I think what we have to acknowledge is that Marlon's children are grown ass people.
Yes. And please let all know that Stack, I love him to death too, but y'all gotta understand that Stack is a younger dude, so he's gonna have a different taste.
Stack ain't young either. Stack is 40 years old.
55 years old, man. Come on, bro.
Stack, how old are you, Stack?
I'm 37 years old.
40.
That's 40.
That's 40. It is. I'll take it.
Nah. Don't take 40. Don't take 40 because then you're gonna have to take 45. You don't take 40. Don't take it to get there. Don't take it. Anyway, y'all, that's the show, man. I want to thank everybody out here for joining the show. I gotta thank Marlon Randolph for making his first appearance on Box Seats, man, and I greatly appreciate that. Thank you to Raina with the best question of the day. Rodney Perry, you got to be proud. Look at him sitting over there being.
Raina killed it, man. Raina and Rodney need a podcast. She murdered it.
That's a great idea. They're called the Perrys. You know
yes, the Perrys, man.
I like it.
And she should challenge his ass on all the dumb shit he says. But that was great.
Whoa.
Yeah, I like that. The podcast called the Perrys. There it is.
Hey, we argue all the time. She's a smart girl.
Randy, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. Stacey, thank you for doing this. I greatly appreciate you. Stack, most definitely, I greatly appreciate you. But I'm gonna kill you with the non.
Did you thank Stacey for the silky smooth, beautiful hair?
No, that's your job.
And her teeth, her tongue is pink. It ain't white. It ain't got all that residue on
y'all
it.
showing out again this week.
Listen,
Why you all in the mouth, Marlon?
Marlon, too much, bro. You too much. But he's single. He can do that, right, Marlon? You single?
Marlon, like, yeah, and she got a little growth on her tonsils too.
See, there we go. Dang, really?
Out of control.
Raina, thank you for doing the show, Raina. You did a good job. We're gonna have you come in and give us another thought from the bleachers. We might have you a little sexy call from the bleachers. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That'd be a good idea.
And she's a track person too, so she knows track.
Oh, you do? Oh, we definitely have to have a conversation because the track that I can't even talk about. But thank you all for doing the show. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Before you all go out of here, Marlon, tell everybody you got something coming up. Let everybody know how they can follow you, you know, what they could do, what's going on in your world.
Hey, but thank you, man. Thank you, first of all, Frank, for having me on. It's Marlon Randolph at all the social media platforms. I am rocking hard here in New York all the time, man. We'll be at Comedy in Harlem on Thursday. If you guys are in the area, I would love to see you. It's a Black-owned comedy club. That's fabulous. Rodney know about it. He was just here. We getting ready to amp up, man, for a huge trip in Mexico that's happening in July with my girl Peaches, who's the promoter. That's a big show also coming up. And some other things right here, man, in the tri-state area, man. A lot of us work this tri-state area, so it's in between Delaware, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New York. So we stay busy in this area, man. So if you go to any of my social media, you'll see the flyers. I put them up every day. Once again, that's Marlon Randolph. Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Marlon. Appreciate you. Stacey, how can people follow you, bro?
You can find me on Instagram. The handle is at the bottom of the screen at Darn That Stacey J, or on TikTok. They brought it back, so I am still there at Stacey X Sports on TikTok. I also dropping a new episode tomorrow at the She Shed podcast. Me and my co-host Kayla, we talk about everything from the headlines to the sidelines, and it's a bunch of foolishness. So tune into that.
So I can pull it up on all podcast platforms.
Listen, come on. Well, on Spotify, but yeah, you can come on, hop on too. We're on Spotify now.
Right.
So it's on the page.
What y'all talk about on yours, Stacey? Sports or all stuff like in the.
So we talk about sports and we talk about entertainment. Okay. So it's a we get in and we get out. We hit it and quit it. No more than 45 minutes.
Man, you can't be talking to me like that.
Just
me.
Quick enough for you to get in the car, get to the store, and get back home.
Miles making me run over time. I apologize. Roddy, go ahead, man. How you?
I mean, the fact Roddy Perry live on all social media. The podcast Comedy and Crime is on the streets. New episode out right now. We got a Young Thug, I believe this current episode that we talked about. This weekend, Arlington, the Arlington Improv, Arlington, Texas, I'll be in the building and look like we have sold out one of those shows already. So excited. See y'all this weekend, Dallas.
Nice.
Y'all can catch me at Stacking Over on pretty much all platforms and right here on Box Seats twice a week.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And Raina, how can we follow you in your track career? We want to pay attention to this.
Raina's a nurse. That's a nurse, right?
But I'm still at school. And what else? I don't know.
You about to graduate? You about to graduate?
I'm about to graduate. I'll take a break, but yeah, my birthday February 5th though. So
yeah,
Aquarius, February 13th. Yay!
She told me to put a cash out on my Instagram page, so I'll be throwing it up there.
There it is.
That's
Y'all,
right,
thank you all for joining and watching
right.
the show. Show's called Box Seats on every day, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. on Humor Mill on all our platforms, and we repeat it again all day. Thank you to my wife.
Great job, Frank.
Thank you for Jason. Thank you all. Jason for tuning in. Thank you for Yvette. Thank you for Yolanda. Thank you for Stacy. I mean, a lot of people. Thank you for all you all. Jason, thank you all. We'll see y'all again tomorrow. Same time. Peace.
All right. God bless. Thank you.
Thanks.